Hey guys, it's Tahira, and today I'm doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This tag has been created by Chammy and Ellie, and I'll link the original video down below. And I've seen this a lot around booktube because it is the middle of the year. June has come to an end. It's now July. Kind of scary that we're already halfway through 2017, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started. And I know I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video because I'm pre-filming these videos and I'm too lazy to change, and this is comfy, so whoops. Question number 1, best book you read so far. I'm gonna have to go with The Hate U Gave by Angie Thomas. This book is released this year and I absolutely loved it. It's about Black Lives Matter movement, and I hadn't read a book about the Black Lives Matter movement before this one, so this one is a really kind of milestone book for me because I'm reading about issues that I've never seen in young adult, and The Hate U Gave is the first book that I saw that addressed this issue, and it's really important, especially in this day and age with Donald Trump. I don't want to get into Donald Trump, but this book is amazing. It follows a girl named Star Carter. She's African American, and she's the sole witness to the murder of her best friend Khalil. And it's really sad, but she goes through how she's the only sole witness, so she has to talk to the press and she has to deal with it. And this book was absolutely phenomenal. It was amazing. Just go read it now. Go read it. Question number 2, best sequel you've read so far. I did not have to think about this question at all because I know the answer the first second I saw the question, and that is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. It is the second book to the Dark Artifices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. The first book is Lady Midnight. Absolutely love Cassandra Clare, one of my favorite authors. 5 out of 5 stars. Lady Midnight, 5 out of 5 stars. All of her books, 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely, I love how it's all one world, because all of her books are one world, because she expands a lot into the same world, so everything is connected, and it's so cool to read about stuff like that because you can see how big the world is. Really, you can visualize it when there's more than one series to the same world, because if it's one series, it's a very short amount of time, so you can't really show the scope of the world. But with Cassandra Clare, you can totally see the whole scope of the world, and the Institute and Shadowhunters and the war, and it's just the history of her world is so fascinating, and I just am in awe of how she does it. Question number 3, new release you haven't read yet but really want to. And I had to go with Upset if Unrequited by Becky Albertalli because she is an amazing author. I read her Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda really recently, like this year, and I absolutely loved it so much. I flew through it. I got it to the library, but I totally want to reread it and own it and stuff. And I read so much, I've heard so much about how diverse this book is and just about how amazing it is in general, and I absolutely cannot wait to read it. Question number 5, biggest disappointment. I'm sorry if I keep changing. It's because I'm trying to adjust how far away I am from the camera, and since my camera doesn't have a flip out screen, I can actually see myself, so I don't know where I'm standing. I don't know. I'm not gonna see where I am in the frame until I actually edit it, which is kind of annoying, but you know, you just gotta go with it. This disappointment, The Valiant by Leslie Livingston, because I've talked about this in numerous previous videos. Disappointing books, Unpopular Opinions book tag. I'll link those down below if you want to check them out. But basically, I was really anticipating this book. Huge disappointment. I really wanted it to be good because it's about a female gladiator, and I thought it'd be cool and it'd be about female power and girl power and stuff like that, but I was severely disappointed because I was rolling my eyes like every other page because everything seemed so stereotypical and very generic young adult. So I was really disappointed by this book, and I so really wanted to like it. So that's why it's really a huge disappointment. Question number 6, biggest surprise. This one I have to go with A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This book 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely did not anticipate or expect loving this book. I thought it'd be like another contemporary. It's okay. It's nice. It can be happy and stuff. But it wasn't. It was really sad. Heartbreaking. It was just, it's just, oh my god. Julian, my baby. Julian basically deserves the world. basically, yeah, that's where I am right now. Julian deserves the whole entire world. He deserves everything happy. I just want to take him and hug him and tell him all nice things. And it's just, I can't, like, basically, you can see I like this book so much. I can't even say words about how much I love it. I can say hands down, biggest surprise, biggest, greatest, pleasant surprise I will ever have this year, probably. Question 7, favorite new author, debut or new? So for this one, I'm going with Robin Rowe because she wrote this magnificent book. Go read it. But I'm gonna say trigger warning for child abuse. It is graphic. I almost cried while reading it. It's so sad, and so it's a major trigger warning for that, just in case you get triggered by that. Be careful when you read this book. Just warning. This book, Robin Rowe is such a phenomenal writer, and you wouldn't know it's a debut book by reading this book because it's like she was an experienced author. By the way, the author's so smart. Like, it says Robin Rowe has had a bachelor's degree from Cornell and a master's from Harvard. Amazing, very smart person right here. Robin Rowe, great author, great book. You wouldn't know it's a debut by reading it. Just go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Question number 8, newest fictional crush. I have to go with Kel by In the Darker Shade of Magic, a trilogy by V.E. Schwab. Just Kel. Cool, dark, cool. Lila Bard, awesome, love her. But Kel, cool, love him as a character, as a person, okay, maybe not as a person, but as a character. Love him as a character, so cool. I love Kel, reading about him, just, yeah. Question number 9, newest favorite character. Time using this book, but I have to go with Julian from A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, because this book, amazing. I'm rambling. It's a really good book. Julian, absolutely precious cinnamon roll. Just read about him. Go read, and you'll want to hug him forever and tell him nice things. So just go read it, because then we can talk about Julian, because he is a precious little person. Question number 10, book that made you cry. I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't cry in books at all. I've never cried in a book. Absolutely never have. Not even in movies. I'm just not a book crier. I'm not a book, like, however sad the book is, however sad the movie is, and however sad a story is, I'm not gonna cry. And it's weird because I'm an emotional person, because I'm like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because I am an emotional person sometimes, but when it comes to stories that are not happening to me, I don't cry unless it's affecting me and I can feel the pain. And that's kind of selfish. I feel like it sounds selfish, but that's just how I just don't cry in books. But I did almost cry. I literally felt like little tears in my eyes, like little water. I felt water in my eyes while reading this book, because it's heartbreaking. Some scenes are absolutely heartbreaking. As I said, trigger warning for child abuse, but it's very graphic, and I almost cried while reading those scenes, because it's just so sad seeing that happen to a kid, especially a kid like Julian, who doesn't say anything. He's so nice and sweet, and it's just heartbreaking reading those scenes and this book. So that's why it made me almost cry. Like, this is a book that's closest to have made me cried. So that's something rare, because I don't cry in books, as I said. So this book always gonna be in my heart. I don't know, I just have a special place in my heart now, because it's just absolutely amazing. I can't stop thinking about this book. Question number 11. Book that made you happy. For this one, this didn't technically make me happy, but it's the most fun I've had reading a book so far this year, and that is for Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This book follows the Queen of Hearts, the Red Queen, before she was evil, and it follows her as Catherine, who is a baker, and it's basically her and her story and how she becomes the Red Queen, and basically it's so fun. I had a blast reading this book, and overall, the story is not happy, but it made me happy reading it, because I had so much fun reading it. So I'm just choosing this book for this question. Number 12 is a favorite book to movie adaptation you saw this year. I've only seen one book to movie adaptation this year. I wanted to see Everything, which recently got released, and Other than that, I don't think there is any. I haven't heard of any book to movie adaptations. This tag was created in 2015, and that was the year when a lot of movies were being released, like Hunger Games, Divergent, stuff like that. But 2017, not the year for book to movie adaptations. But I only saw one, and it was phenomenal, and that was for A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Monster Calls, another book that almost made me cry. And it's so sad. The story is, it's a really, really short book, and the text is really big, so it's really, really easy to get through, but it's so sad. I went to the movie. The movie is also heartbreaking, and the story is heartbreaking, and everything's heartbreaking, and it's so sad in the story and everything. The mother is dying, and the boy, how he deals with her death and how he has to cope with it and stuff. It's just so heartbreaking. Question number 13 is a favorite review you have written this year or favorite video you have created this year. I think for review, I'm gonna go with a review, and I think that was a Court of Wings and Ruin review, just because that's the only review I've done so far this year. If you want to watch it, I'll link it down below. It's Court of Wings and Ruin, third book to the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Everyone on BookTube knows the ACOTAR trilogy. Very famous in the BookTube community / world, so you should know that by now. But if you want to check out the review, again, description box. Number 14 is a favorite or most beautiful book you've received this year so far, with the cover of Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is the Just jacket because I'm reading it right now, and I didn't feel like putting it back, but it's like so shiny. I don't know, I can't actually see myself in the foot. There's no flip screen, so I'm just gonna judge myself and trust myself and show you how shiny this cover is, and it's beautiful. Hold on one sec. Like, look at this. Like, look how shiny it is. The gold foil is absolutely beautiful with the moth, and the gold lettering is also so beautiful. And the book is big, and I'm reading it right now, about 140-ish pages in. I'm not that far, but I'm loving it so far, and it's beautiful. I don't actually have that many beautiful books, so that's why I chose this one. And the last question number 15, is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? This one, I could go with many different books. I need to read Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab, which is her second book to the Savage Song duology, I think. And also I need to read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, Night Film by Marisha Pessel, Upset If Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, When Dimple Met Rishi by Samia Manon. So yeah, I have a lot of books I still need to read, plus all the great releases that are coming out, like Wonder Woman, Warbringer, there's Renegades by Marissa Meyer, Warcross by Marie Lu. Just so many amazing books that are coming out that I can't wait for, and I really, really want to read their new books, so I'm just patiently waiting. It's July, and their books don't come out until like August, September, October, November, so I have to wait like 5 more months, but it's okay, I'll wait. So that is it for this mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!